In today's class, we're going to solve um, the classwork on modeling. So in these exercises, you will learn how to create model relationships. So let's get started. Okay, we're still going to be working with the queries that we transformed the last time. So we have a list of the queries here, list of all the tables that we'll be working with here. And the first task we need to do here is to go to the view, the model view tab. So from here we have the reports, we have the data, and then the model. So let's click on the model. Let's see what we have there. We've talked a lot about model. Let's see what we have here. Let me try and minimize the view here so that we'll be able to see what we mean by relationship. Okay, so look at this is where in the model view window here now. So it has a list of all the tables 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are visible here. Don't forget the color format table, we said it shouldn't be visible in the model. So we have 2, 4, 6, 7 here representing all the fields that we have here. Okay, so that's the view, the model view for us to be able to see, and at the moment we can see the relationships that exist between two tables here. For example, look at the sales table and the salesperson table. You have a relationship. Same thing here, and here you have a relationship here. So Microsoft Power BI can auto detect relationships, and that's what we have here. I didn't do all this myself, and the Power BI did it. But in case we now have other relationships that we'll need to create, so that is what we want to do today. So I want to create some relationships myself. We will look into that in a bit. But before we do that, let's also check the report view. So I'll come back here and say this is my report view. We still have a list of all our fields there where we can actually expand each of the tables and see the columns inside the tables. So we can expand from here and check what we have in there. So for example, I want to expand the products table. I've expanded the product table, and here now I have a list of all the columns in the table. So although it's not yet time for us to create reports, but if I should just click on category for now, look at it, I clicked on category, I didn't do any other thing. So I have a table opening on my report window. So a table is coming up here. Look at the table that we have here. So we have a table here already that has the content in our category. So I have it on my report here. So at the moment, the default visualization is the table. So that is why we have it this way. So if I should over to another table here, remember I've selected category under product. If I go to sales here now, and I select the sales column here, I just selected the sales column. Look at what we have here. So here now, it's been able to show us the category from product and the corresponding sales value from sales here. So I can actually choose from columns from different tables to populate my report. But that is not actually where we're going today. Today we just want to create relationships and not just rely solely on the established relationship from Power BI. The first thing I'll be doing now is where do we go when we need to create relationships. So I'll hover to my modeling, because what I want to demonstrate now is I want to create a relationship between a product table and a sales table using a particular column, which is the product key as the common column to the two tables. So if I click on modeling now, I have my manage relationships here. If I click on manage relationships, it will open a window for me where I'll be able to select new to create a new relationship. At the moment, I have like 4 relationships that have been identified here already by Power BI. So I want more. I'll click on new. If I click on new now, I can select a table here. These are all the tables that I have on my Power BI. So I want to create a relationship between products and sales. So I'll choose the second table, sales. Look at it, I've not even done anything. It has been able to identify that yes, there's a common column to the two. The product key here, there's product key here. It has identified the cardinality saying one to many, and the cross filter direction is single. So I can just leave it, say make this relationship active. Then I'll click on OK. By clicking on OK, I now have that relationship added to the list of active relationships here now. So I have it, I've been able to create a relationship between my product table and the sales table using the product key as the common column to the two tables. Okay, so this relationship is now active, and once I say OK, let us now check. We'll click close when we're done. In the manage relationship window, you notice that the new relationship is listed and then we've closed, right? So in the reports that we had on the screen earlier, it's talking about this report. You notice that the table visual has updated to display different values for each product. The values here are different from what we had initially for each product, right? Because now it has been able to really work on the relationships. So we now have a relationship that exists between this product and the sales. Let's go back to the model. Look at it here. If I click on this line here, it's showing me that I have a product key here, I have a product key here. So there's now a relationship between the two tables here. Okay, so we will also try and create another relationship. We create a relationship between the reseller and the sales. So we'll create a new one again so that we'll understand how to create a relationship. Let's do one more. Reseller and then sales. Reseller and sales. Look at the relationship. Look at the key, the common column to the two tables, reseller key. So if I click on OK now, we now have a reseller and sales relationship. So I can say OK. We can go back and check our model again. If we go to our model, we'll be able to see that we now have a relationship between the reseller and the sale. This is sales and this is the reseller. It wasn't existing initially, so I can move it here so that I'll be able to see what we have here. So I have a relationship between reseller and sales. Okay, I can go ahead and create more relationships. Let me quickly create 2 more relationships here. So I want to create one region and sales. I want to create between region and sales, and there is sales territory key connecting both together, and there's a many-to-many relationship between salesperson. No, I'm still in sales now here. Okay, so this is connecting the two. The cardinality here, I can decide and say, okay, the cardinality is 1-to-1 or 1-to-many or many-to-many. So although this is simply saying there is already a relationship between these 2 columns already, so I can just ignore that if it's existing already, or I can still just add mine to it and just move on. Okay, let's just make it active. So there's something there already. Just make it active. It exists. There's something there already. So it's just for us to make it active, and it's there so I can now and say okay, just make active. It's there. So let me check. This is region and sales. This is salesperson region and where's that? Salesperson region and region. We're talking about salesperson and region. Okay, so this is it. So I can come in, add the second one, salesperson and employee and salesperson and sales. That's the next thing we want to do. So the employee key is connecting the two. The employee key is connecting the two. This also is saying there is a relationship active, so it has detected, but so it's there. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relationships, not what we had initially. So that's how to create relationships. I can click close. If I go to my model to check now, I'll be able to see the different relationships that exist. I'll be able to see all the relationships there. And the next thing we want to do is to configure the table. How to configure table. So we've dealt with creation of mode by creating mode relationships under modeling. So let us configure the table. So I want to configure the product table. This is my product table now. So I want to start by creating what we call hierarchy. So I want to expand the product table, and then to create a hierarchy in the field spin, I want to right click on the category column and then create hierarchy. So I want to create hierarchy to demonstrate how to create hierarchy. So I've right clicked on it to create hierarchy. So if you look here now, we now have a category hierarchy here. We have a category hierarchy here. So if I select the category hierarchy here, if you look at the properties, in the properties pane to the left of the field, so we have the property here. In the hierarchy drop down list, scroll down to where we have subcategory. Scroll down to where we have select subcategory. Clicking on the category hierarchy that have just been created, it will now show us the properties. In the properties pane, we'll be able to see the hierarchies. So the hierarchies we have here now, we have sales, we have subcategory, we have category hierarchy here, and we have category here. So I want to select subcategory. Selecting the subcategory and add the third level to the hierarchy in the drop down list. So we should have category, let me remove this. So I have category here, I have subcategory here, then I want to have the product. Subcategory, category. Next thing we want to do is to configure the product table. We want to use this to learn how to create hierarchy. So to create hierarchy, I'm right inside the model view. Then I'll hover to where I have my fields, right click on. Next is to create hierarchy. We want to learn how to create hierarchy now. So I'm in my model view, and I'll hover to where I have my fields. I want to create hierarchy on category. So I'll right click on category, then I'll click on create hierarchy. I'll click on create hierarchy. So it's trying to create the hierarchy now. So I now have an hierarchy created here. So this is the hierarchy. So I want to rename the hierarchy. I want to give it products. Then I can add description if I want, but I don't want description for now. Let's go down to see the. So I have select a column to add to my hierarchy. So I want subcategory added to the hierarchy. So I now have under category, I have subcategory. I also want to add product to the subcategory, so I can come down here and add product. So I've been able to create hierarchy here. If I'm done creating my hierarchy, I can click apply level changes. I can click on apply level changes. So if you look at the fields here now, I now have product. If I bring this in, so under my product now, if I expand my product, I have category, subcategory, and products under my product, which is a category that I just created. To organize columns into a display folder in the fields pane, we can as well select the background colorful, just like what we've done earlier with the product. We also want to do similar thing to our background color format. So again, to do that, I'll go to where I can also create like a folder to organize some of my columns and put them in a folder. For example, if I want to add this background color format and font color format, now I want to put it in a display folder and then change the name for the folder to be formatting. I can press down my control key, select the two columns, then right inside the name, I can give the new folder a name for my folder. I want it to be formatting. So if I type the name there, then I can scroll down and say, okay, I've been able to change formatting. So look at what has happened here now. I have a folder here. If I try to bring back the folder, so I have my folder here. If I click here to expand, I have background color format and font color format. So this is not like hierarchy. I've just been able to organize the column tables that I have here and put them in different folders. It's quite different from. I also want to create hierarchy in the region table. So this is my region table here. I want to create hierarchy, and here I want to have my country, group, as well as region. I want to put them and create an hierarchy, and I want to name the hierarchy regions. So it's the same thing I've done earlier here. I can create hierarchy. Right click and create hierarchy. So I can give the name, change the name. I want the name to be regions. I can scroll down to add level to my hierarchy. So the first level I want there is my region. I want group, then country and region. I want group, so I can remove the first that is there and then add let me do that again. Alright, click, create my region. My hierarchy, rename the hierarchy, change it to regions, and I want to scroll down. So I have my groups here. That I want to add more levels. I want to add country, and I also want to add region. When I'm done, I'll create apply level changes. Apply level changes. I'm done with creating hierarchy here. So if I click on the regions here, I have the hierarchy here, the group, the country, and then the region. So I have all those created. I can as well move on to configure the reseller table. For the reseller table, I want to create a hierarchy named resellers. So come here, this is my reseller table. So I want to have business type and reseller. So I can come here, right click on it, create hierarchy. Scroll up, I want it as resellers. And then I want business type and also reseller. Also reseller. And also reseller. So I can apply changes. I also want to create another hierarchy here named geography using country, region, state, province, city, and reseller. Those are the things I want in my hierarchy. So I want country, region, and so on. So I can right click on it, create hierarchy. Scroll up. So here I can rename this geography. Geography. Power on my system. Okay. So for my geography, I want to add hierarchy here. So I want country, region, I want state, province. State, province. I also want city. I want city, then I want reseller. Then I can apply the level changes. I can as well, let's move on. Next is to categorize some of our columns. So to categorize, I'll click on that column, then go to where I have my advanced and the properties at the bottom here. Then I'll scroll down to where I have the data category. At the moment it's uncategorized for accuracy. So I'll want to categorize it as country, region. So when I'm trying to make reference to it, I get accurate result. Data categorization can provide hints to the report designer. In this case, categorizing the column as country or region provides more accurate information when rendering a map visualization. So we need that in case we want to render a map. I've done that for country, region. I want to do the same thing for states, province. So my state, province. We want to categorize state, province as well, so that we'll be able to categorize it as states. I'll still go to the formatting, advanced, the properties rather, then advanced, then data category, and categorize state, province as states or province. State or province. And the last thing is that of the city. So we want to categorize city too. I'll scroll down here. I'll go to advanced. Go to advanced there. In data category, I'll choose city. Don't forget we're doing this because we need to render a map visualization. So I've been able to say C city as a city, C country region as country region, C state province as state or province. In case we now need to render map visualization, it will give us more accurate results. If you want to show something representing a form of maps. So we go to the sales table now. Let's try and do some things on the sales table. So on the sales table, let us select the cost column. I've selected the cost column. Let's check the properties for the cost column. So this is the property for the cost column. In the description, I'll scroll up. In the description, it says there's nothing there, so I can actually write anything here on my description. So I'll put based on standard costs here. Based on standard cost. Descriptions can be applied to table, columns, hierarchies, or measures. In the fields pane, description text is revealed in the tooltip when a report author hovers their cursor over the field. So when we now, by the time we're working with reports, we'll be able to see descriptions effects. So I haven't done this for cost. Let me go to quantity here. Quantity. This is quantity. Let's check the description too. From inside the formatting, let me scroll down. From inside the formatting now, I can say, okay, use 1000 separators. Then I'll say yes for 1000 separators. So if I choose 1000 separators now, if I have 1000, I'll probably have one command in 000 as 1000. So we can actually do that there. I'll also go to the unit price. For the unit price, let me go to where I have formatting. In the unit price, I'll slide the decimal places to 2. So decimal places, I don't want it to be by, I want to, okay, then in the advanced group, I can scroll down and say summarize by average. So I can still do all this. This is just to show us in case we need to do some of these things while we're trying to create our model. So being able to say summarize by average. You know, initially when we were working, when I just added I clicked on category earlier and it was able to show the figures, and at the bottom we were seeing sum. So in case you don't want it to calculate by using sum, we can do what we've just done for what's that again? For unit price, and say just summarize by average. So the next thing we want to do is, we want to bulk or check, we want to update multiple columns in a single bulk update. So you will use this approach to hide columns and format column values. So we want to do bulk updates. So I want to update product, region, reseller, a whole lot, about 13 columns. So I want to do something to all these 13 columns as a whole. So I can hold down my control key and start. I want product key in products. Where's my product key in products? Then I also want in region, I want sales territory. Maybe I don't want to work with all those things. I want to hide them. Sales territory. I'll go to reseller. I want to click on reseller key. Reseller key. I'll go to sales. Under sales, I want to employee key, product key, reseller key, sales order number, sales territory key. So I'll scroll down under salesperson, employee ID key, employee key. Let's scroll down again, the UPN, the salesperson region, sales territory key, then targets, employee ID. So I've selected all this, and in the properties pane, this is the property pane. I want to say hidden, I want to toggle it on. Meaning I want to hide all the columns that I've selected. So I've said hidden, yes. So that means you look at my model here, the number of columns in my table has reduced because I've been able to hide some of the columns there. So we can actually do that to our model in case we're not working with some of the columns. We want to also set decimal places to more than one column at a time. So I can go back up here. Let me see. I want product table. I'm starting with the product table. I'll hold down my control key. So I'll select standard cost under product. I also want to select costs under sales. Costs under sales. Where's my sales? Oh, okay. Let me do it again. Standard costs. Then costs. Then sales under sales. So I want to over to the properties here and say the formatting should be decimal places, not fixed decimal number. We are just one decimal up. Yes, then it should be 0. If I want to change the decimal number here, decimal places should be 0, not auto. Okay. So I've been able to do that. So I can do things like that to multiple columns. So the last thing we want to do is to review the model interface. So let's switch to the reports. And in the reports, in the field, let us check the hierarchies. The hierarchies we created are actually there now. Look at the geography. If I open it out, I have the columns I added as hierarchy here. The salesperson region table. Let's see the salesperson. No, this is not salesperson region. The salesperson region, this is it. Only has employee key because we've hidden all others. Same thing with other columns that have been hidden. If we go to sales and other dates, we'll be able to see some of the hierarchies that we've created at here. So we've successfully completed the assignment. So next time we'll be starting with DAX. I think we still have some things here. We're not done yet. Okay. After reviewing, then we want to create quick measure. We want to create quick measure here. We want to create quick measure. For the quick measures here, we want to quickly perform I want to create quick measures. So to create quick measures on the sales table, so let's go to the sales table. Sales table, right? So I can right click on the sales table and then I'll say new quick measure. So by clicking on new quick measure, look at some of the things we can actually do here. Average, maximum, we can filter, you can perform some mathematical functions, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and so on. So what we actually want to do here is subtraction. So I'll click on subtraction, and it's asking us for the base value and the value to subtract from. Okay, so we want to select our sales into the base value. So I'll expand the sales and then drag my sales into the base value, and then I'll drag the costs into the value to subtract. So sum of sales minus sum of costs. So we want to probably create a profit or something. A quick measure creates the calculation for you. They are easy and fast to create for simple and common calculations. You create measures without using this tool. We can create measures without using the DAX, calculations, and so on. They are here for us. So when we're done with this, I can, let me scroll back. You click on OK here and say yes, we're fine with what we've done. Look at this. We'll see the new measure. So I've clicked on OK. So it's trying to bring that up here under our sales. And I can look at it here. It has given me sales minus cost. And ordinarily sales minus cost should give us the profit, right? So I can right click on it and rename and give it profits. And say profits. So I've been able to rename it to profits. Look at it. We could have written out the DAX ourselves, but we can actually use quick measure to easily do certain things for us. So I'm not done yet. I also still want to create more quick measures. So I've right clicked on it. This time around, I want to use division. I want to find out something. So I'll go to division. Then we now have numerator and denominator. The numerator, I want my profits from the numerator, and I want the sales from the denominator. So this will give me the profit margin. This is just pure mathematics. It will give me the profit margin. So if I say OK now, it will be able to add that measure, new measure, to my sales here. Then I can rename it and call it my profit margin. See profit divided by something. So I can just come here and rename it to profit margin. I can rename it to profit margin. Then the format, I want everything in percentage. I want it in percentage. So I want 2 decimal places. Not auto, 2 decimal places. No, percentage. Okay, so I've been able to do that. Now let us test the two measures. So let's first select the table visual and the reports. So this is the table visual. I can add another table really. So this is another table here, and I want the profit. I want to see in the category. Say the category. I want to add sales. I want to add sales. I want to add profits. And I want the profit margin. So here now I have. So I have the profits. I have the sales, I have the profits, and I have the profit margin. So I have a goal overall profit margin to be 1.29%. Okay. So to remove the table selected, today is not just for reporting. So I can come here and remove. Same thing with this one. I can click here and remove. So I've been able to remove that. So we're done with the tax. So let me just save, that we can continue from there next time.